Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Happy Easter, everybody, and welcome to the weekly news and review for March 31st, 2024, 2024. One more day. We could have done an April Fool's joke, but anyway, this is not an April Fool's joke. We did finally get to see SWOOP. Looks pretty good. We're going to talk about that. Of course, we have Masterpiece, and really not much of any Legends news. We got some G.I. Joe reveals at the WonderCon. A lot of stuff coming out of WonderCon, which is pretty cool and pretty fun. But most of it's stuff we've already seen before. But it's nice to see the next evolutionary step in packaging. Also, some Todd McFarlane reveals. Just a whole slew of stuff. Some of the stuff I think we've already seen before, but we'll go through most of it. Then they're revealing the Plasma Pack 3.75 inch O-ring, so there's more stuff going on with some Ghostbusters and more stuff with some Star Wars. We're actually going to get some Star Wars stuff. Well, not much, very little, but some of it's pretty good, and we'll talk about this and more coming up. Alright, so what's going on at Show Z? We've got the Transbot MX24 Yaguchi Omnibot up for pre-order right now. And they've updated the pictures with some of the new updates from X-Transbots. Pretty cool stuff. Also, they have these are the Dinobots. These are McFarlane's toys. They are like slightly KO oversized and set of 5. These are the metal versions. So if you didn't want the cartoon version, these are more like toy version from the original ones that come out. So I haven't seen these in like 4 years, and they're $120 for the entire set if you're interested in that. It's a pre-order. And then we've got this, and this is the DX9's Legends God Genrai, and we'll be seeing more God Genrai here in a little bit, so kind of fitting, but that's up for pre-order also, $1 down. And yeah, the DX9 going back into Legends is kind of exciting. So we have the Fans Hobby MB27, the Shield team going on right here, looking pretty cool. And these guys actually do make a shield. Looks like they comes with a standard shield and a transformable shield. Is that a thing? And then here's what it looks like if it's on the figure. And it's kind of cool that they're doing these little mini bot, mini con kind of things that turn into shield like that. Interesting. So this past week I did review the Takara hoist, which I liked it. You go watch the review, tell you if I like it better than anything else or better or worse. Now they're coming out with this one here. Now this one is the Takara, it's a Diaclone one that they're coming out with, and it looks just yellow and red, a different color. And this is what I was talking about too Friday, that Takara's going to come out with all these different color variations. Sometimes you see X-Transbots do that. You don't really see Fans Toys do it so much anymore. But this is what it looks like. So it's kind of like a combination of the Trailbreaker and the Hoist, because it doesn't have all that Hoist backpacky stuff going on with it, but it has the Hoist legs. So it's interesting. It's a thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick it up because I really don't do all the Diaclone stuff, but I know there's a big market for it. Right, there's the fuzzy reveal picture of the MPG09 Super Genrai first look, and next week we'll get better pictures, but from this fuzzy looking picture I think it's gonna look really good. And is it gonna be as good as KFC or on par with it? Is it Masterpiece? You know, it's interesting that they're doing this, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see more about it probably in the upcoming week. That's usually how it goes, but I think this is actually a better picture that they took here of the main Prime. Now this to me is the Power Master Optimus Prime, and that's what it is in my mind, but there's more lore to it in the Japanese continuity than what there is in the US continuity, because this really wasn't in the cartoon, but I think maybe it was in the comic. I don't even know. I had one as a kid, so I will definitely be picking this one up. Pretty excited for it and interested in seeing how it goes, what's going on with it, but more information to come, and I'll be interested in finding out price. This week, MMC's come out with their Groove, and it looks pretty decent. It's a little unfair to compare it to X-Transbots right now because of the fact that there's no paint on it, so we don't know exactly how it's going to look. but I still think it looks pretty good. It's quite a contender. I think the X-Transbot one looks pretty decent. I heard it was a bit of a transformation question. It was a challenge, but it does look pretty good overall, and I like it. But with more paint, it could look a little better. The motorcycle mode looks interesting too, and it does look different. It does the same thing except different, and it's going more for, I guess, the cartoon, because it does have those side guns on the rear, which I'm pretty sure maybe the X-Transbots. I missed the X-Transbots one, but I'll pick it up when they do a toy version or something, so I can actually have one to build mine. But I'm really looking at this MMC one. It's looking pretty interesting, looking pretty good, but I've already kind of decided on the X-Transbot set. Still nice looking overall, and I do think they'll be more fun to flip around and mess around with than the X-Transbots versions. Not a whole lot of Masterpiece news. I mean, it's good news, but not a lot. There's a lot of Hasbro stuff this week. That's what that WonderCon's more of, some legit kind of stuff versus third party. Okay, here we go with, this is the mini bot, and okay, so looking at this, I just had to go check. I just paid for my wind charger, and this is another one of those things when I pre-ordered it, it only showed me wind charger, but now I'm getting wind charger and tailgate set of 2 for $50. And I'm not upset about that price because it's not bad, and they look pretty good, but it looks like they'll be shipping very, very soon. So this is kind of a wacky little figure. This is Dr. Wu's MCO4 Einstein, and kind of, I get that vibe from the live action movie where all these little gadgets came alive, and it looks like it turns into a pink laptop, if that's what it turns into. Interesting stuff, and knowing Dr. Wu, it'll probably turn into 5 different colors. Knowing Dr. Wu, they've already got it out in 3 colors that I missed that, and now we're on to the pink, but because the P stands for pink. Interesting. So it's a lot of news that we have seen and some news that we haven't seen. But at the event, they showed off the Leader SWOOP, this Bumblebee movie, Sunstreaker, War for Cybertron, Sideswipe, and of course, there's more stuff in there, Shockwave and stuff like that. But what I'm most interested in, of course, is the SWOOP. So this is the best picture I could find of the SWOOP, and I think it looks pretty good. Here's the thing, they've done a great job with all the Dinobots so far. B, this looks like almost exactly what I would expect for their SWOOP to look like. And also, it's really hard to screw up SWOOP. I mean, it really is. It's a very simplistic figure that shouldn't take a whole lot of extra engineering to make them turn into the bird. It's easy. Now, the thing is, will we get down the road like a repainted red chest? I almost guarantee it, because they've repainted a lot of these other ones. Grimlock like 6 times, but looks fantastic overall, and you're not going to see VAC metal on it and that kind of stuff, which would have been nice, but nope, that's not what we're seeing. And maybe there'll be some special collector edition down the road that's really expensive that they do that, but I doubt it. They're not really too hot on the VAC metal these days. And then here it is in the alt mode. Now, they did have this present at the event, which is cool, and it's exactly what I expect. It is a very simple figure. It shouldn't be hard to transform, and it just nails it the way it is. And see, I can't help but think, this is what I wanted as a kid. I wanted a SWOOP. I wanted to have a SWOOP that had more articulation. And the reason I liked SWOOP so much as a kid was because it did look right. It looked good and had independent legs instead of like a pin bar connecting the legs, that kind of stuff. So yeah, SWOOP, big deal to me that they're making it. And as soon as it's up for pre-order, I will definitely be pre-ordering this bad boy. All right, so we've got the TMNT crossover for Transformers coming, and it's not going to be all that big. It's not going to be a big old van. It's going to be a smaller van, but it turns into a turtle. Now, from what I'm hearing, because I didn't watch the whole thing, but I'm hearing that they're going to want you to buy several of these so you can turn them into one of each character. They give you everything you need to swap out the heads and all of that, the weapons, accessories. So it's $50 for this crossover, but it's going to have everything you need to make it whichever character you want. So I think that's a pretty smart way to go about it, because if you only buy the one, then you can change it out to whichever one you want, or your favorite. Like me is Leonardo, so if I could just make me a Leo, then it's fine. So you don't have to kind of pick and choose, because you've got it all. Or you can buy 4 and have the whole team, or you can buy 5 and you can have the whole team and one in the alt mode. And then I take it this is probably an alternate alt mode, the way they've got this, but I'm not 100% sure. I did not watch the whole thing. Still, it looks pretty cool. So we got a picture of the Transformers Legacy United versus multi-pack official images, and I guess we've got pre-orders. Limited quantities on Hasbro Pulse. This has the Cyberverse Tarn, the G1 Squeeze Play. We've got Transformers Prime Cliffjumper, and then Beast Wars Tarantulas. With a Kingdom Tarantulas retool inspired by the prototype. Looks pretty cool, pretty interesting if you're in on this set, and these are usually Target exclusives, but I'm not seeing that here. But anyhow, it's $80 for 4 figures if you're interested in getting this. And if you take a look at that gun in his left hand, that's like a homage to the Browning guns, from what I'm hearing. Browning, and that is a figure that I showed in my most recent Megatron review, as a Retro Wednesday Megatron review. If you guys check that out, I've got the Browning figure in there, and yeah, it looks about like the Browning figure to me. Of course, Browning figure with a lot of purplish, pinkish hue to it. Okay, so Studio Series 38, Optimus Prime from the Bumblebee movie, is getting a reissue, and here's the thing. They put it out, then they put it out with a premium paint job, and now it's putting back out as, I guess, the original run? I guess? So, I know this thing, I heard it was pushing like $100, but I'm not really into this, so I didn't really need it. I did get the premium. I have one of the premium ones, just because I thought that was kind of cool, but I don't really need the standard one. The premium paint one will do for me. If you're interested in this, then you might want to check it out. And $35, that's actually not a bad price. So the Origins Bumblebee that went on clearance for $7 at Targets everywhere and lingered for a while, and I don't know what they did with them because they all just disappeared one day. I think they salvaged them out. It's coming back with new packaging to Targets near you, and it's a cool figure. It's a cool figure, but it's a very niche figure. But it's cool, but it's getting a reissue, and there's also going to be some sort of a Bayblade theme. It's a physical product themed Beyblades, so it's gonna be like a Megatron and a Starscream, sort of a crossover thing going on also. Now I'm gonna go through this on TFW 2005. They are showing the Studio Series and Generations wave breakdowns for the 2025 releases, so I'm gonna hit this real fast and just kind of hope I get it all right, but here goes. United Wave in January 2025. We're going to see Core Dinobot Deluxe G1 Sure Shot, Cosmos G2 Breakdown, Deluxe Armada Wheeljack, Voyager Tarn, Voyager Ramjet, and then Galaxy Shuttle in January 2025, and then Leader G1 Overcharge. Then we're going to get into April. They should have Primes Wave 1, Deluxe Animated Waspinator, Deluxe Slingshot, Air Raid, Solus Prime, Voyager, Prima, and Armada Red Alert. And then Leader G2 Grimlock in April. And then Leader of the Fallen. Wave 2 in July of the Primes. Wave 2 should have Deluxe Crasher. So that should be repackaged, I guess. Deluxe Alchemist Prime, Deluxe Swindle, RID Skybot, Voyager Rescue Bots, Heatwave, and then Leader Onyx Prime. Then in October, we're supposed to be getting Deluxe Micronus, Venom, so we can finish that set. It's going to be October 2025 before we can finish our set of Deluxe Insecticons. Then we're going to get the Skydive, Fireflight, so we're going to start into getting the next Superion, Voyager, Alpha Trion, and Flatline. Studio Series in January of 2025, so starting back to January. Okay, Transformers 3 Hatchet, Transformers 7 Double Patch, MV6 Bumblebee, TF7 Optimus Prime, War for Cybertron, Skywarp, Leader 86 Galvatron, which probably just going to be a repack, and then Apeling. Then April of Studio Series, we'll be seeing Widowmaker, Q, and a repack of 86 Perceptor in April, Ironhide, War for Cybertron, then a TF1 Sentinel, then Transformers Prime from the fourth movie, third movie Shockwave. So there's that. Then getting into July, we're almost done. TF1 Starscream, 86 Bone Crusher, 86 Jazz, and then War for Cybertron Thundercracker, and then 86 Scrapper. Oh, we're getting into the Constructicons, and then Leader 86 Megatron, which is a big question mark. Leader 86 Megatron, what's going to happen with that? It's a leader. It should be a whole new mold, and it should turn into a gun, I hope, but it won't. Anyway, then we have in October Warfare Cybertron Autobot Soldier, 86 Scavenger, Mixmaster, then 86 Grimlock reissue, and packaging refresh, and then July 2025 Deluxe Dev Optimus Deluxe TF1 B125 Bumblebee. So, reiterating pretty much every single thing that we saw on the leak list and in waves. So they're putting out a vinyl record. So this is Transformers from the original animated series, vinyl, Amazon listing, and official images. And interesting. Vinyl's making a comeback in a way, but it would be nice to also have digital at the same time. I love the physical media, and I love it. This day and age, it's easier to have the digital. It would be nice if you could have both in a set, but I mean, I do understand what they're doing. Really nice, great artwork, great packaging and design. It just looks fantastic. But I prefer, when it comes to this, the digital stuff, and I did get some digital stuff earlier, long time ago, and but it's outdated. It's not very good. I'd like some modern refresh of that too. Well, we got side-by-side pictures, comparison pictures of the Bridge Pack, which this is something that we haven't really seen this detailed of pictures. Fantastic job on this. So looking at the left is Siege, on the right is the Bridge Pack, and I think it looks better in both modes. And yeah, I do not have the Siege mold. I avoided it. I've got the cartoon version one, but I never bought the original one. I do have this coming. But then, of course, we got, like, in 2025, we got a better one coming. This here is, I'm believing that the one on the left is the new one, but it might be the one on the right. So, I'm not sure. Actually, that's a good thing, that they're so close, I can't tell. But maybe it is the one on the right. I don't know. I can't tell. I know for sure on the next one, though, Shockwave, and I actually like it. I like the Shockwave on the right a little bit better than the first Shockwave. I like that purple pops, and that is the one with the set, so it is an improvement. The downside is, like people are pointing out, to make that front end look more like the original gun, an upside down submarine mode, they did recolor the backpack, which clips on as the front there. So that is an issue. That is an issue for some people for the bot mode. For me, I guess if you really care about both modes, it makes the alt mode look a little bit more authentic, but there you go. I like the new one way better. And I do have the first one too. Alright, so we got pictures of the Ghost Starscream and, was it Phantom Confrontation? I remember this episode in Beast Wars, so it makes a lot of sense with the Waspinator. But I don't know, I might have to get in on a clear Starscream. I don't have a clear Starscream. I'm starting to like the clear stuff a little bit more. But that's what it looks like. Alt mode looking like this. So pretty cool. It's with all the light, it's hard to even see Starscream in there. But yeah, interesting set overall to get that Ghost Starscream. Pretty cool. Pretty interesting. This is the BWVS 08. It's Dakara's recolors. So in other news, we had a lot of Motu reveals, so I did a whole other video, and in that video I did to kind of discuss a few things, then there's a couple things I failed to mention. Not everything's up for pre-order right now. Some of this stuff is not up for pre-order yet, and so if it's up for pre-order at BBTS and these other places, then it's up for pre-order. If it's not, then it's not. And some of this stuff's not so clear as to when it's all going to be up for pre-order, where it's all going to be available. And so they'll be dropping that as we go, and so I'll try to cover that in subsequent news sessions. The other thing is the Masterverse stuff. It's not selling as well as Origins, and I know that for a fact because, number one, there's very few things that ever sell out. There's very few. And about 70% of the stuff goes on deep clearance. And that versus Origins, you very seldom see anything on clearance other than Wave 7, and then these last, like Leech and Snowspout that have been sitting around. But there's not a whole lot of clearance stuff for Origins versus Masterverse. And it's just because more people are collecting Origins, and that's that. But anyway, watch that video. Tell me what you think. I think I need to start pre-ordering some Origins stuff, because if I don't, I probably won't get it. It's as easy as pre-order it, or it might be that hard. That's what she said. Speaking of what she said, this is the Fire and Ice Teegra 1/12 scale action figure from Frazetta Toys, and this is a brand is Frank Frazetta. Fire and Ice, $90, available in July of 2024. Very nice looking figure, just a fantastic looking figure. Comes with a whole bunch of stuff. Comes with, well, it's 5.9 inch scale, so it's the 1/12 scale, and it has 3 alternate heads, 3 pairs of interchangeable hands, knife, tree branch weapon, spear, shawl for covering, and then a loin skirt, which is kind of all transparent. And the Panther figure comes with extra head. So it's $90 because it comes with the Panther also, and they're probably not going to make that many of them. All right, if you're going to back Flipor, then you might want to do that today. It says the last day is on April 1st, but I would get it backed by Sunday if you're backing it. The crowdfund for Flipor for Mad Hatter, the thing is that there's a lot of different ways to back it. I went ahead and got one of each of the main figures. I went ahead and got the stealth. So that's about $200 I got in this. If it gets to 200,000, you get all these extra things, which is great. I would love to get that, but even without all that, it's still worth it to me. But I would much rather have all the extra little parts and pieces and gizmos in there. And it's getting really close to 200,000, which only got a day or two left. But if you want to get in on that, and I have definitely backed it, put my money where my mouth is. Here is Flipor. This is a prototype of him, what he looks like, and looking pretty cool. It is in the kind of Motu Origins type of buck. It's definitely not an exact replica. It's completely different, but similar in many ways. And with that, we've got, this is the Aces of Aviation. Ramen Toy will be making or working on the manufacturing end of this, and so moving into the Aces of Aviation. That's something else that Ramen Toy is working on. But I am more interested in a couple of things Rom is working on. Now, I did miss out on this clear one. I wasn't willing to pull the trigger at $225. I just felt like that was a bit much for me, especially since I've got each version already. But I'm going to regret it down the road, I'm sure. That clear looks awesome. Just awesome. Just, there's a lot of things I'm buying right now that are $200 items. But then getting into this comparison here. So this is their next project that they're working on, and it's coming along pretty quick. They are still working on the prototyping of this. I forgot for a second. Are they calling it Purple Ray? I think they call it Purple Ray. And yeah, cool looking overall. There's some more stuff to it, like it does shoot some missiles out of the top, and just showing every step of the way. That's another fun thing about Ramen Toy, though. They will show you all their development process, and this gives you opportunity to go to their Facebook and leave comments and say, hey, I think those wings should be bigger, should be smaller, I'd like to see this, that, another. I mean, just give your feedback, and Ace actually takes that feedback and considers it. There's a new Marshall in town, and they're still working on the Marshall, working it out yet. And it's not here yet. It's not on the way, because they are still working out every detail of it to make sure it's an awesome figure, which is another thing I like about Ramen Toy. And when this is delivered, it's going to be amazing. There's going to be a whole lot of options with how you display it, how you show it, but really cool overall. Pretty excited for this figure, and it's been a long time since we've gotten a new Bravestarr-ish looking figure. It's been like 2 months. Just kidding, but I think this will be better than what we got with the Dawson Toys one, and it definitely will be bigger than the Dawson Toys one, Dawson Toys one. But cool, awesome, excited. All right, so we've got pictures of the McFarlane. This is their panel, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. This is a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of stuff goes into 2025. But starting out, we've got their movie Maniacs with the 40-year-old version, The Big Lebowski, and Dazed and Confused. All right. The Matrix, cool stuff here. I believe all this is like statues and stuff. Movie Maniac statues. I don't have any of this, so I don't know much about them other than what I'm seeing right here. Still looks pretty cool and interesting. If you are really interested in this, like it's a property, then you can get in on something like that. Now, I would be interested in this, and I, for whatever reason, thought this already like came up and sold out, but maybe I was wrong. So this is a Build-A-Figure wave for Plastic Man, and so collect all 4 to make a Plastic Man. I could use a better Plastic Man than what I have, and this is spring of 2025. So I'm kind of interested in it. These are ultra articulated 7-inch figures, and I don't want all of them. I just want the Plastic Man, but looks like you have to buy them all to build the Plastic Man, or you have to pay somebody a crazy price on eBay for them to have built the Plastic Man for you. So it's a catch-22. We'll see how it goes. We've got a Build-A-Figure here to build the Nightmare Bat, and I'm probably not going to touch any of this, but it's still cool and interesting that it's a thing that's going on. Nightmare Bat. Cool stuff. Then there's a 7-inch, another of the Build-A-Figure waves, and I guess there's 2 waves, 2 Build-A-Figures. I'm guessing that's what's going on here. And I just kind of get lost in all this. I do think the Bane looks really cool. There's 2 different, is it 2 different Banes? So there's some cool stuff in here. I just don't really like seeing Batman keep getting made over and over and over and over. It gets a little bit old. And then we got this collector edition Penguin and a couple other characters in here. Still looks pretty cool, pretty interesting. I didn't really want to cover all this with these terrible pictures because I'm sure we're getting really good ones next week. So I'm not going to spend much time on it. And then this Batmobile is hashtag not my Batmobile. So I'm not interested in it at all. But I'm sure there are people that are. I've seen some really amazing Batmobile displays that shows every iteration of Batmobile. The only other Batmobile from aside from the original one and the 89, I think I would like to pick up an animated version, because that thing is just cool. It is just cool. But that's it for me, and I'm out on Batmobiles after that. Here is summer 2025. We're going to be getting these guys here, another Batman, and I mean, surprise, surprise. But I don't know much about these characters. I'm not really that concerned, but there it is. Then we got some of the animated series, Build-A-Figure wave. You build this dude over here on the right, and yeah, it looks pretty cool, pretty interesting. I'm not sure if I'm in on this. I started collecting these, but I don't know if I'm in on it. I think it's a really cool wave, a really cool line. I think the figures look outstanding, but I just don't know if it's for me. But I still like looking at it. It's pretty cool. Now we're getting into these action figures here with their music figures, Music Maniacs, and we've already looked at 2 of them, so we got 2 more in here. Rob Zombie, and I guess that's someone from Iron Maiden. Anyhow, this is, if you're interested in this and going down this route, you might want to check these out. So Hasbro, with their panel and their stuff at WonderCon, they did show off something new. And, you know, it's not a surprise, but it is. So the Plasma series came out with the 1/18th scale of the Ecto-1. And people were mad that you couldn't put Plasma figures in it. They didn't make the true 1/12 scale Ecto-1. And now we're going to get figures to go with that said Ecto-1. And the figures are going to be sold in a 4-pack. I heard it was like $45. Again, I didn't watch the panel. I'm getting a lot of secondhand information here. But when its pre-orders go up, we'll know for sure. And they're in like G.I. Joe style. So they're going to farm out the G.I. Joes, the Super 7, and the O-Ring. But they're going to make their own in-house for Ghostbusters. Really weird. It's really strange how they're going about it. But anyhow, I'm assuming if you already have this, what that was at the time was the Plasma series version of the Ecto-1, then this is just the same exact thing, and so you don't have to pick up a new one. But it's an interesting step that they've gone in. All right, because these weren't in the same slides there. This is something else Batman animated. It's a Jokermobile, which is cool looking. This is about a kind of a tease in a way, but it looks really cool. I'm wondering if it actually lights up on the inside, if that's a thing. It's going to be a Target exclusive, it appears. And yeah, really interesting that they're going with this. It's a DC Direct and very, very cool looking vehicle. And I don't know much more about it. I'm sure we're going to get a lot more information down the road. Nice little teaser from McFarlane Toys. All right, so Jax is making some of these Simpsons figures. Now, we saw it already. But these are 2.5-inch figures, so they're small. Nothing like the Ultimates that are 7-inch-ish figures. These are interesting. This set is $20, and it comes with the diorama and Homer Simpson. Then all the other figures and stuff come with a separate pack, I guess. So interesting there. Then we've got a Krusty the Clown. Includes 14 phrases. 14 phrases. And it's a pull string. Krusty the Clown. So that's interesting too. But what's more interesting is Moe's Tavern's phone, which has a couple different ways to use it, to program it. Basically, it'll ring, you pick it up, and you get those fun jokes like Amanda humping stuff. You know, you'll get all those jokes in there. And the funny thing is, I bet you forgot more than you remember. Yo, Joe, there's not a whole lot of Joe news this week, and actually, I'm not sure if I can find the Hyatt Toys. Hyatt Toys is making a Tomax and Zaymont, but I could not find that picture for the news. I'll have it by next week, I guess. But here we go with these retro card backs, and I like this. I dig this. I found Duke. I didn't find any of the other ones. I found Duke at a Target, and cool because I was able to squeeze him in on a 25 off of 75, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But all these look great. I actually think that Beachhead looks even better than the first one. And okay, all these look better than their first ones. That's all I gotta say. I'm just gonna say that. I think they all look better than the first iterations, and I'm in on all of them, even if I only keep them on the card. And the card stock is thicker, even though mine had a couple of dings in it. It's still nothing compared to what was going on before. And real quick, my collecting in 2024 is I keep a lot of my stuff in the bag with a receipt, and if I find a better deal, I take it back, because that's just how it's going in 2024. Because I feel a little crazy after all of those super clearance deals last year. So I took 3 sets of things that were over $75 back, was able to reuse that same coupon code in the circle, and I ended up getting like $60 back basically on all that stuff. So I guess we're going to wrap this up with some Star Wars news. This is the Hammerhead, and the blurry pictures kind of sucked. I had to wait a bit for good pictures to come out, and this is as good as it gets. I'm sorry, but this is as good as it gets for Hammerhead pictures. But it looks good. This is what we need. But is there too much damage done to Star Wars at this point to start giving collectors what we want and us not care? I don't know. The problem is there's really no reason for Hammerhead to be in the higher price point deluxe, but yet he is. Yes, he is deluxe. Let me see. I don't have these in order, so I have to pull this up separate. Here is his packaging, and what you can see of him in the deluxe set. You get a few cups. I mean, I don't think it's a deluxe figure. Yes, he'll probably be a little bit bigger than the rest of them, but it is cool we're getting him, and I would love to see them dial out all the other characters for the original trilogy. Give those priority over these new characters that we don't really care so much about. But anyway, pretty interesting. I will pick him up, but I really want to see him on a vintage style cardback. Ezra Bridger, and it's all right looking figure. He looks okay. I've already got an Ezra Bridger. I don't know if I need another Ezra Bridger at all, and I know it was a big deal to get him back in the day. Nowadays, is it that big of a deal? But I would definitely get an Ezra Bridger vintage collection right here. I don't know. Probably get it on a sale. And then we have Kanan, and this is a pretty good looking one. So I'm guessing these are all the vintage collection ones. For some reason, I was thinking Black Series, and I don't know why. But no, these are all the vintage collection ones. But yeah, so Kanan looking pretty good. I really think this even looks better than the Black Series one, and the Black Series one needs to get redone. There was a lot of issues with it. My son broke his arm off of his Ezra Bridger, or not Ezra Bridger, but Kanan, and that was so long ago that he doesn't care about toys anymore. He's into other things, but they probably should redo that figure. And I don't want them redoing all these figures, but if they do a better looking one like that, should do it. Zeb looks really good. Very nice looking figure over here. He's going to be a deluxe. He's going to be in that package where you can't see your figure. And they're going to stick with that. They're going to stick to their guns on the deluxe ones, not being able to see your figures. So that's a thing. But yeah, I think Zeb looks pretty good. But yeah, that's about all there is for Star Wars. It's not a lot. So there it is. This week's weekly news and review. Love it or hate it. That's what was shown this week. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Everybody have a wonderful, happy Easter. Titanium Hanger out.